Welcome, deep divers. Today, we're taking a closer look at the life and the really immense impact of professional wrestling legend Hulk Hogan. He
Yeah.
recently passed at 71.
Right.
And his story is just this fascinating weave of, well, unprecedented success, reinvention, and controversy. We're going to unpack it all.
Mm-hmm.
So our mission for this deep dive is really to go beyond the headlines. We want to explore the incredible, often complicated life of Terry Bollea, the man behind the Hulkster.
Right.
Get ready to understand not just that he reshaped an entire industry, but really how he did it.
That's right. And our source material, it's drawn from these extensive excerpts on Hulk Hogan's life and legacy, and it offers a pretty comprehensive look. It goes much deeper than just, the news of his passing.
Yeah.
It really digs into his huge impact on pop culture, his transformative career, and, the controversies that definitely marked his later years.
So it sounds like we'll get the full picture.
Yeah, I think this deep dive will help you connect the dots on how one sort of larger-than-life personality could stay a household name for decades, even with all the profound shifts in the industry, and let's face it, intense public scrutiny. It's a fascinating study, really, of fame, reinvention, and ultimately legacy.
Okay, so let's start with the news itself. Terry Bollea, known globally as Hulk Hogan, passed away on Thursday at 71. World Wrestling Entertainment confirmed this.
Yeah.
According to the city of Clearwater, Florida, police and fire personnel were dispatched to his home. This is after a report of an individual in cardiac arrest.
Okay.
He was pronounced dead at Morton Plant Hospital, and authorities confirmed there were no signs of suspicious activity.
Right. And to really appreciate Hogan's impact, you kind of have to look at professional wrestling before him.
Okay, set the scene for us.
Well, it was a fragmented regional business.
Wow.
The performers were often, let's say, less dynamic, more like barrel-chested guys. Bollea just shattered that mold completely. Imagine this tall, muscular blonde who looked like he was carved out of granite.
Right.
Wild hand gestures, this totally over-the-top personality that just oozed charisma, and, of course, the trademark yellow and red.
Instantly recognizable.
Instantly. He was an immediate, undeniable crowd favorite, just unlike anything anyone had seen before in wrestling.
He really made his initial name, I think, in the American Wrestling Alliance up in Minnesota.
That's right.
But it was that memorable cameo as Thunderlips in Rocky III that really put him on Hollywood's radar, wasn't it?
Exactly. And that, I think, set the stage for something monumental. His pivotal move to the then WWF and his collaboration with Vince McMahon, that wasn't just a partnership.
No.
It was a synergy, really, that fundamentally transformed wrestling. It went from this regional spectacle to a national and then a global entertainment powerhouse.
Wow.
McMahon understood that Hogan's larger-than-life persona, combined with the emerging cable TV landscape and aggressive merchandising, it could transcend the niche.
Right, reach a whole new audience.
Precisely. Hogan became the immortal Hulk Hogan, the face of a new era. He proved wrestling could be as much about character and charisma as the in-ring stuff, attracting mainstream audiences who'd maybe never watched wrestling before.
And it was here, right at the peak of his WWF tenure, that Hogan really cemented his place in wrestling lore. We're talking moments now etched into pop culture history, like his partnership with Mr. T at the very first WrestleMania. That was a huge gamble, right?
Yeah.
Changed the company's fortunes forever.
Absolutely. Huge risk, huge reward.
Then there's that incredible body slam of Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3rd, one of the most iconic moments in sports entertainment, period.
Unforgettable. Still gives you chills.
And who could forget the handshake with Randy Savage, forming the Mega Powers?
Yeah.
Or just his unwavering promise to let Hulkamania run wild. That phrase alone.
It became a cultural catchphrase. And his in-ring success, it wasn't just confined to the arena. It truly crossed over into mainstream theme in a way wrestling just hadn't seen before.
How so? Beyond the matches.
Well, his animated series, Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling, it debuted on CBS in 1985.
On Saturday mornings.
Yeah. And it actually featured Brad Garrett, from Everybody Loves Raymond, voicing Hogan.
Your way.
Yeah. It further cemented him as a household name for, everyone. Kids, adults. Imagine Hulk Hogan cartoons.
Yeah.
It brought wrestling right out of the arenas into every living room.
That's incredible reach.
And he even appeared with Cyndi Lauper at the Grammy Awards in 1985. Plus, his enduring presence in collectible action figures by Hasbro, Mattel, his image has just been everywhere for decades.
But, even for a phenomenon like Hogan, that perpetual heroism, the good guy thing, it could grow stale.
Sure, tastes change, the audience evolves.
And as the landscape of wrestling shifted, so did fan expectations, right? His real American good guy character, beloved for years, eventually led to his shocking jump to World Championship Wrestling, WCW, owned by Ted Turner.
Yeah, a massive shift. And it's important to note, even as he moved to WCW, his time at WWE was still kind of under scrutiny.
Oh, how so?
Well, there was the 1994 steroid trial. McMahon was accused of providing steroids. Bollea admitted to taking supplements during his WWE stint,
Okay.
though he denied being ordered to do so by McMahon or the company leadership.
Right.
But that admission, even carefully worded, it added this layer of public scrutiny to the industry's practices and maybe to Hogan's previously unblemished, real American image.
Okay, yeah, I see. And then came, well, the unthinkable. Summer of '96, he executes arguably one of the most famous heel turns ever,
Oh, absolutely history-making.
turning from hero to villain. He joins these villains, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, to form the New World Order, the NWO.
Yeah, this revolutionary anti-establishment faction, it blurred the lines between fiction and reality like never before.
This audacious invasion storyline, with Hogan as its unexpected leader, it just resonated deeply with fans who were maybe tired of the traditional good guy thing.
Exactly. It created this cool factor that propelled WCW to unprecedented heights. It was shocking, but it worked.
And this storyline, with the NWO just dominating, and the role of savior, played by wrestler Sting, that fueled WCW's hottest period, right?
Absolutely. It directly led to the Monday Night Wars against WWE's Attitude Era, both companies going head-to-head every week.
Intense competition.
Yeah, and this intense battle brought professional wrestling to arguably its most popular moment in history. Truly a golden age for the industry. Massive ratings, cultural relevance.
The Monday Night Wars sound like an incredibly intense period, but for WCW, and maybe specifically for Hogan's character, there was this point of no return, the finger poke of doom.
Ah, yes.
What exactly happened there, and why was it such a blow?
Well, the finger poke of doom in 1999, it wasn't just a bad match. It was a moment where the curtain was pulled back so crudely, it kind of shattered the illusion for a lot of fans.
What happened?
Kevin Nash, who was the champion, basically just flopped on his back after being poked in the chest by Bollea. Poked. Allowing the villainous Hollywood Hogan to easily pin him and become the WCW champion again. In an era where wrestling was trying to be more realistic with the Attitude Era, this moment felt like a cheap joke. Fans felt like their intelligence was being insulted.
I could see that.
This public exposure of wrestling's predetermined nature in such a blatant way, it sent WCW into this period of crisis. Many say it was a major factor leading to its eventual purchase by WWE. It killed their momentum.
Wow. So Bollea eventually returned to WWE in the early 2000s,
He did.
including that really celebrated match with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at WrestleMania X8, a real clash of generations there.
Incredible atmosphere for that match. Icon versus icon.
And he was also inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005.
Yes, recognized for that first monumental run. He did have a less celebrated stint later with Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, TNA, from 2010 for about 3 years.
Less celebrated. How come?
Well, that period largely featured older stars. Arguably, it was kind of to the detriment of newer, younger talent. It never quite achieved the same success or cultural impact as his earlier WWE or WCW runs. It felt maybe for many like an attempt to recapture past glory rather than innovate.
Interesting. And around that time, 2005 actually, Bollea followed in Ozzy Osbourne's footsteps, didn't he? Starring with his family on reality TV.
That's right. VH1's Hogan Knows Best, with his then-wife Linda, kids Nick and Brooke, and friend Brian Knobs.
Right. It ran for 2 seasons.
2 seasons, and it even had a spin-off, Brooke Knows Best, starring his daughter. It definitely extended his brand far beyond the wrestling ring into that reality TV boom.
Yeah, kept him in the public eye.
Now, we do need to address a crucial turning point, a really difficult one. In 2015, an unauthorized sex tape surfaced.
Yeah, I remember this.
And it exposed a racist rant from Bollea. This moment, where he used the N-word referring to his daughter's dating life, it profoundly tarnished his legacy among scores of wrestling fans and wrestlers.
Yeah, the backlash was immediate.
He issued an apology, saying there is no excuse for it. But it was a significant blow to that real American persona he'd cultivated for decades.
And the impact was significant, right? He was fired from WWE.
Fired from WWE, yeah. Many mentions of him were removed from their website for a time. The sex tape was also instrumental in that prolonged lawsuit against Gawker, which had published excerpts of the tape.
That lawsuit was huge news.
Huge. The $115 million judgment didn't just bankrupt Gawker, it became this pivotal moment in media law
How so?
because it sparked this national conversation about privacy rights in the digital age, the limits of journalistic freedom, especially with highly personal private content. And, of course, the revelation that billionaire Peter Thiel had secretly funded the lawsuit as revenge against Gawker for outing him as gay added another whole layer to it.
Wow, what a complex situation.
Extremely. And his eventual return to WWE, even after apologizing to the locker room, was met with really mixed reactions, enduring disappointment from some fans and wrestlers.
Yeah, I imagine it wasn't a smooth return.
Not entirely. Thaddeus Bullard, Titus O'Neil in WWE, publicly questioned the sincerity of the apology. He said something like, "You don't have to be prepped to say certain things, and you definitely don't want to make excuses."
Strong words.
And Colby Lopez, Seth Rollins, said Hogan was a victim of his own ego and that his actions fundamentally changed how fans saw him. So despite the apologies, it sounds like for many, that trust, or maybe the illusion of the real American hero, was truly broken.
So the perception really shifted.
It did. He was sometimes outright booed at appearances, even his last one back in January.
Okay. Now, shifting gears towards the end. In what was perhaps Bollea's last big public showing, he made a surprise appearance. Primetime, final night of the 2024 Republican National Convention.
Yeah, that was certainly unexpected for many. He ripped off his shirt to expose a red Trump Vance tank top.
Very Hogan-esque move.
Classic Hogan, yeah. Called Trump his hero and said he would bring America back together, one real American at a time.
Interesting political evolution there, too.
It is worth noting, yeah. He'd endorsed Barack Obama back in 2008, but his allegiance had clearly shifted to the Republicans in recent years. Another significant evolution in his public persona.
And how was that received?
Well, Donald Trump reacted on Truth Social, mourning the loss of his great friend, called him MAGA all the way, and remembered his RNC speech as absolutely electric, one of the highlights of the week.
Okay.
Vice President J.D. Vance also remembered Bollea as a great American icon. So definitely embraced by that political side.
And finally, his last professional endeavor, he was starting something new, wasn't he?
He was, his new wrestling company, Real American Freestyle. It seeks to provide a bigger platform for traditional wrestling, the kind you see in the Olympics, rather than WWE's entertainment-focused style.
Okay, so more like amateur wrestling focus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was actually set to host its initial event on August 30th. Chad Bronstein, the CEO and co-founder, stated Hogan believed that wrestling was more than just entertainment. He saw it as a brotherhood, a proving ground, and a platform for greatness. Kind of a fitting final act for a man whose life was so deeply tied to the sport in all its forms.
Wow, what an incredible arc we've unpacked today. I mean, from revolutionizing professional wrestling, becoming this global pop culture phenomenon,
Louisville Pints.
to navigating really intense public scrutiny, controversy, and even to this final foray into a new wrestling venture. Hulk Hogan's life was truly multifaceted, complex, and undeniably impactful.
It really was. And it leaves us with maybe a provocative thought for you, the listener. How do we as fans, as observers, reconcile the larger-than-life character of Hulk Hogan, the guy who inspired millions, with the personal controversies and the shifting public perceptions of Terry Bollea, the man? What does his complex, enduring legacy tell us about the power, the nature of reinvention, and maybe, ultimately, the fragility of celebrity in our modern age?
Something to really think about. A complicated legacy indeed.